Yeah, what up, it's your boy Eddie and you're welcome to the Bass Player Music Reaction channel. If you're new here, please do well to support your boy by liking, by leaving a comment, and most importantly, subscribing. Today we're going to be reacting to a song titled Amazing Grace, and this version was done by Vasc. Without further ado, let's go straight into the music.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound
Wow.
that saved a wretch like me.
I love the tone of his voice.
I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see.
Awesome.
'Twas grace that taught my heart to fear, and grace my fears relieved. How precious did that grace
I can literally feel the soul.
the hour I first believed. Through many dangers, taunts and snares, I have already come. 'Tis grace that brought me safe thus far, and grace will lead me home.
Wow. Awesome. Yeah, that's a mouth organ. Wow. Awesome. Wow. This guy is really good. Are you serious right now? Wow. Wow.
Was blind, but now I see.
Wow. Are you serious? Wasn't expecting them to come back in. Wow, that was a beautiful rendition there of Amazing Grace by Dan Vasc. You know, I could just feel his soul. I could feel his emotions through the music. It is more like he was talking about himself. So you could just see how he was pushing the song by the expression on his face and by how much dexterity he put in his voice. All the parts where he was shouting and all, you could just feel his emotions really, really deep in the song, and that made it 100%. I also love the fact that he started off really calm. He was just building the intensity of the music from the start to the finish. So it didn't just start off with some loudness. I liked how calm it was. His voice was just so soothing. His voice was just so clean and crisp. It sounded really cool and very calm from the beginning. You could feel the exact emotions he wanted you to feel, singing about the amazing grace of God. And it's more like he was just talking about himself. That's about the best way to push songs or messages. You would put yourself in the place of the music. You would put yourself in the place of the lyrics and then sing it like you were talking about yourself. And that was what Dan Vasc did. His voice was just out of this world. His voice, his range. Yeah, I loved how he could go really high. It sounded like metal though, but it was still very calm. It was more like a fusion of metal and then a very slow rock. I'm not really sure of that, but his voice gave it that metal feel. And that was really, really nice. I liked how he could go up the range, you know, really rough on the range, and then still come down and sing it very calm and smooth. Yeah, and also I loved how the sound was. It was really clean. You know, I always talk about the audio engineering of every song I listen to, and I loved how the audio sounded on this song. Even when he raised his voice and he was shouting, the sound was still really neat and crisp. It wasn't screeching in my ears and all that. So I loved the audio engineering and also the instrumentation of the song. Wow, really calm. You could just know that the instruments are accompanying him. The instruments were actually backing him up in the song, especially from the beginning where the strings came in. I don't know if those were strings on the keys or it was live violins that were played for him, but it was some beautiful sound there. I actually love the sound of strings a lot. You know, it gets to touch your soul. You know, it brings soul into the music. You know, I talked about the soul in some of my previous video. Soul is what makes you feel music so much. It's not just about instruments alone. The singer also could have some soul while he's singing. So when the soul of the singer and also the soul of the instrumentation come together, you can't just help but really feel the music. And this is that kind of music that you could end up crying while listening to it. So the soul was 100%, especially when the strings came in. I could just feel the song, you know, it pushed the message more to me, and that was really, really beautiful. I'm actually a Christian, and this song, I could relate so much with this song, Amazing Grace, how sweet the sound, talking about how the grace of God can pull you through different situations of life. Yeah, and it's something I can really relate with. And this is actually the first time I'm reacting to a Christian gospel song. Actually, my first time ever of reacting to not just Dan Vasc's Amazing Grace. It's my first time of reacting to a Christian gospel song. So it's totally a different experience altogether. But I really enjoyed the sound. I enjoyed the music. And also something I observed was how the keys were changing. That was some really professional musicianship there by Dan Vasc. So most of the time, there weren't really cues for him. When I say cues for him, the music would break and then he comes in together with the music on the new key. So unlike the usual that we see is the instruments would go the higher key and then the singer would follow, but here they were all going at the same time. So it wasn't the easy way out. You get what I'm saying? It wasn't the easy way out of just having to follow the instruments. Here they went on together. You know, that's not something that is really easy. So that's some really, really professional musicianship. These are things that mostly musicians would look out for and understand. And I am a musician, so you might not get to think about a lot of these things, but these things, they really matter to some of us. We get to take note of all of this kind of, what word would I say now? Professionalism in music, and really, really nice. I also loved how beautiful the lights looked. Really, really awesome lightings they did on this video. I liked how some parts were dark and you could just see some lights all around. Beautiful lightings there, and the concept of the whole video, really nice. It was just about him. There wasn't so much of entertainment, and I'm sure it's because of the message of the song. Yeah, it didn't really need too much of scenes here and there on the video, so that was some perfect one there. I liked how he acted the song out. You could see the passion in his face. You could see the emotions in his face. Yeah. So music is not just about singing alone. It is not just about having a good voice and being able to do stuff, riffs and runs on your voice. You should also be able to act while singing. It helps to push the message of the lyrics or the music you're doing. So you could watch Dan Vasc pushing his emotions. You could see it in his face, his body movements, and I really, really loved that about the music he was doing. So for me, Dan Vasc is really, really good, and it's actually my first time of coming across him online, and trust me, I could say he's perfect musician. When I say perfect, I mean perfect musician, and it is 100 respect for Dan Vasc. Yeah, and also I still want to talk about the instrumentation, especially the sound of the drums. I loved how fat the snare was. It sounded really fat. For this kind of music, I don't know if this is rock or if I'll call this soft rock, but the snare had the perfect sound to drive this. If the frequency was higher, you wouldn't feel the way you felt when you were listening to this song. If the snare was lower, you wouldn't feel the way. So it was just there on the perfect mix. So I love, especially the snare. Yeah, every other sound was well mixed, but I love the sound of the snare drum because it was perfectly and neatly mixed, and that was some beautiful one there. Yeah, it is nice to have you on my channel. If you are new here, don't forget to support me by liking, by leaving a comment, and most importantly, by subscribing. Bye-bye.